Right, Jersey Boys. An unexpected comparison for a historical novel about the Pekuni people in 1870s Montana. Well, before we get to the alleged musical numbers, perhaps I should mention the book we're discussing. This is Heart Book Radio, and today it's Fool's Crow by James Welch. The reviewers indicate it's a coming-of-age story. He earns the name Fool's Crow. The book apparently follows his journey, becoming a warrior, husband, leader while his world is changing. Dramatically, white settlers, the Napikwans as they're called, disease, the buffalo disappearing. While others, according to the notes here, found it less effective. One described it as, quote, awkward and crude pigeon. There was certainly division on the writing style, and the pacing too. Some found it immersive, the scope and grandeur sweeping them along. Others felt it dragged. Strange and dragged from time to time, one said. Another admitted it starts off a little slow. Yes, the intimate moments were mentioned, and not always positively. There were comments about masculine sexual fantasy, and, more seriously, several reviewers flagged the portrayal of women. One specifically stated, rape is normalized and misogyny is not challenged at all in the book. They felt women were generally disrespected. The reviewer seemed critical of it being unchallenged within the narrative, possibly linking it to the book's 1980s publication date. Alongside that, there were mentions of significant violence, brutality, torture, inter-tribal conflict, the historical Marias Massacre. One reviewer even noted a character getting, quote, half his face bit off. The emotional impact was frequently cited. Devastating, painful, heartbreaking, crushing. People felt strongly. Which brings us back to the characters, particularly Fool's Crow himself. Generally seen quite positively his journey from, as one reviewer put it, the tribe loser to this respected figure. It's contradictory, like the views on Fast Horse, the prodigal son whose storyline apparently fizzles out, or Running Fisher, whose plot also fizzled, and someone was very upset their unnamed favorite character died. I did see that note, Mad Wolf and Spider-Man. Or comparing it to soggy oatmeal. It seems the book simply didn't inspire any tremendous feelings in that particular reader. They felt bad about it, apparently. All right, let's pose a question to our listeners, drawing from the dilemmas reviewers grappled with. We see the Pekuni facing, well, everything. Some characters, like Owl Child, push for violent resistance. Others lean towards peace, adaptation, or resignation. So listeners, faced with what reviewers describe as cultural annihilation, the loss of everything, do you fight back knowing the odds? Or try to adapt and preserve what you can, even if it means changing fundamentally? You probably think the answer involves befriending the buffalo. That is the central contradiction noted by many. The ending, the language, the pacing, the characters. Reviewers were deeply divided. Yet many also consistently praised the authenticity. The realism. How Welch, drawing on his own heritage, created this immersive world. Perfectly captured the feeling, one said. Made you feel like you were there. It was frequently mentioned as a major, tragic element. Alongside the vision quest Fool's Crow undertakes, seeing the future, the assimilation, the loss. That too was described as heartbreaking. It certainly adds another layer to the interpretation. One reviewer even compared the whole thing to a soap opera, but more realistic. Right, insurance fraud in 1870 Pekuni society, highly plausible. The takeaway seems to be extreme polarization. Reviewers agree it's impactful, often devastating. They praise the authentic portrayal of Pekuni life and the historical perspective. But they vehemently disagree on the pacing, the language style's effectiveness, the depth of secondary characters, and even the tone of the ending. It's described as everything from masterful and exceptional to soggy oatmeal and a pishable leper. Inventive. Ultimately, it seems Fool's Crow is a book you need to read for yourself. The reviewers certainly couldn't agree. You might find it a masterpiece, a slog, heartbreakingly beautiful, realistically brutal, or perhaps, somehow, reminiscent of Frankie Valli. The link is in the description, if you feel brave enough to find out which camp you belong to. This has been Heart Book Radio.